Hello and welcome. It's me, Persita, and this is Persita's Paradox. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate your time and effort in joining me on this channel, on this thing called YouTube. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for joining today. And if you are an OG, your continued support is absolutely life. Thank you so much. So, today, I just wanted to come on board and really find out if you are seizing the opportunities that are set before you. And you may say, well, what do you mean seizing them, Persita? I mean, that's like a little over the top. I'm like, of course I'm seizing them. Well, let's talk about it. So, again, the question of the day is, are you seizing your opportunities? When I say seizing your opportunities, let me be clear on I want to really make you think about all of the things that you don't want to do. Not the things you want to do, not the ideas of you prayed for it and it's exactly the way you envisioned it, and that God is in the midst because it is doing exactly what you envisioned it to be and do, and the opportunities are falling and everything looks like it's a go. I don't know about you, but I'm usually a little leery when things are that way. I'm usually a little bit taken aback in this idea of this is really for me. And you may say, well, what's the point in praying about it if you're not really going to believe it? Let me be clear. I'm not telling you that I don't necessarily go through with it, but I am noticing that there's so many opportunities that come my way that don't look the way that I think that I have really manifested them to look, or they don't really have the characteristics that I thought that they would need to be. Prime example, I'm a big proponent on keeping people in my circle that I feel are in alignment with what it is that I want to do. And I think I've done several videos in saying that you want to be very careful of the surroundings of your life, right? The people that you interact with, the people that you tie yourself to, so on and so forth. And I've always lived by that mantra. I've always been the type of person to say that this is what I really want to do, and these are the type of people that I want to be around. Here's what I've learned. In that, I miss some opportunities to actually do things with people who didn't look the way I perceived them to need to look. And I did that based on the idea that I knew better, right? And because, let me be honest, there was really no reputation or history with these individuals that should have given me the idea that I couldn't give them an opportunity. The same way that I want people to give me an opportunity who don't know me. And maybe I don't fit the mold or the characteristic guidelines of what someone would want to be. I didn't think about that until I thought about it, like I just said, in reverse. What if I'm literally being overlooked because someone who I'm supposed to interact with? Because if you also believe that everything happens for a reason, then you'd understand why I say that. But what if they're not giving me the opportunity because I don't align with what they think that their blessing or their connection that's going to take them to another level, or basically open up another opportunity for them could be? It's interesting because I really do recognize that that's really like a way of kind of telling God how to bless you. It's kind of this thing of like not really paying attention that you're doing it because you really think that you are aligned and you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're aligning yourself with your purpose. And again, I'm all about that. So let me be the first to absolutely slap my own hand and say, you're all about that, girl. Problem being, though, is that I'm just now learning that the flexibility of knowing that I might not know what the frickety frat I'm talking about in regards to what I'm supposed to do in regards to interacting with people, that you got to be open, right? And I'm not really telling you that I can wholeheartedly be excited about sometimes the people that I'm supposed to interact with. I really am now understanding why, when you think of why we don't need to judge, it's because we really don't know the sum total of what a person's communication or dialogue or advice or experience or whatever it is could do to benefit you. And I say that, again, prime example, there was someone that I really, really, really didn't care for from, I thought, a personal level. And I thought that personal level was me using my discernment. And I thought I was really making a great decision for my overall purpose and my overall mental health. Until I realized that half of the reason why I really didn't care for this person is, one, I just wasn't willing to give them a chance. I felt like I had already pinged them for what they were and what they could be and how detrimental that could be to my life, right? In my situation. Here's the funny part. None of what I thought about the person was wrong. That's not it. The irony is that even in all of that, there was still something that they had to offer. Meaning my personal opinion should not have been the thing that held me up in regards to listening and interacting to see where the relationship or business deal or transaction could go. That's hard because we are notorious to talk about discernment on this channel. That is the first thing that I would tell you, to make sure that you pray about it and really be in tune with yourself. But I realize that sometimes our self is really biased, right? It's really not willing to flex. It's really not willing to seize because we really are trying to only protect ourselves, which can be a catch-22. Obviously, you want to be in a position where you're aware of yourself, but you have to be open and vulnerable enough to try. When I found out what I needed to find out from said person, who basically just called me on it and said, I need to tell you this, and I know we don't really get along, but this is something that I feel like I need to tell you. It was honestly some missing pieces to what I needed in order to move forward in something that I was working on. I say that because I really kicked myself in not picking that up. I really kicked myself in allowing my ego to actually overshadow the idea of me really using my discernment. Did you catch that? I thought that I was using my discernment. Child, when I found out that it was really just my ego of me not really wanting to be bothered because I felt like I was better than and didn't really need to do any type of communicating with this person, you can see why I really had to go and slap myself and forgive myself and repent a little, because I really had to recognize it was my ego. Sometimes I think that we don't seize things because we get ego and discernment in a serious conflict. We actually get the convoluted minutia between the two, and we can't separate our emotions from it. I say that because we have to be clear that emotions are temporary. So let's just say you don't get along with somebody on a Tuesday. Maybe a year from now on that same Tuesday, you'll get along, and maybe you won't. But in order to understand that you can't really tell God how to bless you, nor can you really see the future, you have to be open to understand that you may end up liking the person enough to actually get what it is that you need to get from them, or vice versa. That someone may end up liking you enough in order to do that. It's crazy when you think about it, because then you really have to own this idea of you may not know, right? And it really takes you into a space of then knowing that protecting yourself from everyone is not really going to be beneficial as well. You have to actually interact with everyone. And some of those people that you have to interact with, that's going to assist you in some part of your purpose, you may not get along with. I say that because I really, really thought that that wasn't going to be the case. I really thought that I would only be surrounded around the people that would like me and I would like them. And that's how we would know that we're supposed to actually work together because of that. Until I really started to recognize in my career's time span how many people I really didn't care for and that really didn't care for me, but yet we worked well together. Crazy. So I thought I would ask you, are you seizing all the opportunities, or are you doing what you just heard me say that I did, and you're putting your ego in front of your actual purpose and missing the tie to whatever you may need from someone because you're too busy trying to be better than, or be ego driven, or not understand that you're not even seeing what you need to see because you're so busy really focusing on your ego. Notice how I'm stressing ego and not self-care or self-worth, because those are two different aspects. To me, if you are in tune with those things, then ego has a harder time to play a role because you don't really compete. Remind yourself that ego tripping is really competition within yourself, and there's some type of jealousy that sits about with you when you're using your ego. And I didn't really want to deal with that, but that's really the truth of the matter. So let's take the time today to really meditate on what we allow our ego to do. Let's take the time to really think about opportunities that you wholeheartedly know that you missed out on just because you weren't willing to put your ego aside. And I challenge you today to actually be better at it and be in a space that you understand that it's not always personal, right? Business is not that way. And we could possibly miss out on things and not gain access to things and people and places based on the fact that we're not really seizing all opportunities because it doesn't look the way we want it to look. Very hard pill for me to swallow, something that I definitely felt like I needed to share, and something that I definitely wanted to say to you to give you the idea of doing better, right? And really, really, really seizing every opportunity, regardless of your personal feelings about it. Because I'm going to tell you again, if you were asked to literally go and work with someone and you personally didn't like them, but they were the person that was holding the key to your next tier of success, my question to you is, would you allow your ego to stop you from doing it? I know that a lot of people are going to try to weigh it out and use every scenario in the book. What if, they hurt me, or what if they had killed someone? We're not going there. Okay. So we're not making it that deep, because then if it becomes that deep, then that's not ego. That's actually some type of a hurt or something else from a different mental aspect of what we're talking about. Today, we're talking about ego, specifically hindering you from seizing an opportunity. So I ask you again, would you allow that? Would you allow your ego to put you in a place where you just felt like you were better than and they can't tell you anything? Do you do that now? Are you willing to say to yourself that you can admit that that has happened? For me, I can't. For me, I can't. And for me, it's definitely a space where I'm understanding I always want to do better. I'm doing better, thank God. I'm not really walking in the ego path that I used to walk in, and I can feel the difference. I haven't mastered it, but I'm working on it, and I'm working on it diligently, and I'm also speaking about it so that I continuously have it in front of me to work on it. So that's what I posed today. I posed that challenge for you, and I think that it's going to do you as well as it's done me. There's been some unbelievable opportunities that have come my way just because of making that change in my mental state. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you, your time and effort in hanging with me this far on this lovely video today. If you could be so kind as to like, share, comment, hit the notification button, of course, subscribe, of course, do all those other things that I'm always asking, like following me on TikTok and Instagram. I'll insert my handle here. I'm doing that now on almost all the videos, so you cannot forget. And, just meditating on what we talked about today. But before you can do any of those things, I need you to do 3 things, and they are: live life authentic. As always, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.